Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today we're going to be looking at how you're going to be completing our two different simulations for our Australope environments, so for environment A and environment B. And as a quick reminder, we're doing this to explore that claim that yellow color is always an adaptive trait in a yellow environment. So thinking about our Australopes, thinking about all their different fur color variations, and thinking about whether or not you agree or disagree, we got some goals as we get into our two different simulators. The first one being we're going to find evidence about which Australope survives. In order for us to figure out whether or not yellow color is an adaptive trait, we need to know who survives and who doesn't. And secondly, we need to find evidence about how the distribution of traits in the population changed over time. So in other words, if we do see a change, how? What caused that change? What did that change look like? So we're going to be looking for a lot of evidence to really decide whether or not that claim is true and whether or not we can really begin to see how adaptive traits work in different environments. So we're going to be doing two different simulations in Amplify, and the directions in the Amplify page are going to look very similar, but they're going to have one major difference, and that's going to be that star there. In environment A, we're going to have those carnithons within our environment, our yellow environment. So we're going to actually be changing the color to make sure it matches that yellow background for both A and B. But in A, we're going to make sure the carnithons are selected and that they're present in the environment. And then in environment B, we're going to make sure that the carnithons are not selected, not a part of that environment. So when we go into our simulator, whether it's environment A or B, we're going to start by going to this top button here, and we're going to be selecting the camouflage mode. Now, when we do this, what's going to happen is it's going to preload a lot of information, but it's going to have your little toggle here for surface color, and we need to make sure it's at yellow, okay? If we're looking at this, it's at slider level 7, so we need to make sure that that number there is at 7, okay? From here, we're going to go under the biotic factors and make sure that the carnithons are selected for environment A. So here's our biotic factors. Here are our different organisms, and we need to make sure that the carnithons are selected. And then we're going to hit run. Okay, so that's environment A. For environment B, we want the carnithons off. So we're going to actually click that button to make sure there are no carnithons in here. Now, what you're going to notice is when we run the A environment, we're going to have 75 specific Australopes with specific variations. So if you notice, we have our histogram down here with different variations. So we're going to run that population for environment A. And then for environment B, when we turn them on, notice we're still having that same population, but we're looking to see whether or not the changes to their variations are similar, different, and what they look like. So let's look at environment A. Environment A, we want the carnithons on. We're going to run. We're going to make sure we get to 50 generations. So we're going to click on that +1, change it to +4, and we're going to run this until it gets all the way to 50. Okay. Once it gets to 50, obviously you're going to jump into the analyze page. You're going to start looking at what's happening to our population. Now, once we have that, okay, set of populations after 50 for our environment A, we're actually going to need to go back into our Amplify page, and we are going to be doing some different questions with that, taking some different screenshots before moving on to B. So that's how we set up A and B for our different simulators. Your job is to complete the prediction question here and move on to the next section where you actually run our environment A simulator, environment B simulator. If you have questions, reach out. Otherwise, good luck.